ancestors, spirit guides, friendly spirits, and gods. Thank you for your wisdom and your guidance. I ask on behalf of myself and everyone watching for guidance and advice according to what we need to hear. Let's do one more. Okay. Thank you. In this particular deck, they have a really beautiful invocation, so I'll go ahead and do that. I call forth from within the light of Source. Thank you for standing at the forefront of my heart and mind. Thank you for activating the ancient wisdom of my soul. I welcome the support of heaven, earth, the stars, light beings, and beyond. And so it is. That's really, really pretty. Okay. So we have Sword of Light, Divine Protection, Quartz Cut, and Breakthrough Energy. So it seems that there's a stagnation being broken through, an old way of life or operating is passing. And we have Inner Earth, which is base chakra. Oh, here, I'll hold it up so you guys can see. Base chakra, strength and security, and laying foundations. Which seems to be, to me, I'm getting, there was a blockage that has been broken through or is about to be broken through in order to strengthen a foundation of understanding or getting like modus operandi. It's like a way of being. And then we have halls of learning, spirit guides, confirmation, and great lessons. So there are more lessons to be learned. There's a confirmation that there's been a breakthrough, and we have protection, security, and spirit guides. So it's pretty clear that this new beginning is being heavily protected. The Sword of Light has Archangel Michael connotations, or just simply Archangel energy type of confirmation or connotation. The Halls of Learning has some Akashic undertones, and the Inner Earth directly relates to the root chakra. So we have guidance here of rooting in and down to strengthen and stabilize during or right after this cord cutting breakthrough experience. So it seems to be an experience that happened recently or is about to happen. And on the other side, there's a learning, a great lesson. What is this great lesson about? Okay. So we have one of my favorite cards. It's the creation card, spider. And we also have balance or scales. The glare on that's pretty bad. So, to me, this is saying that there needs to balance being brought to a creative endeavor, or perhaps bringing balance to life through a creative endeavor. Can we clarify the context for this? Okay. So we have reflection, mirror. Okay, so what this is bringing balance to balance and creativity going forward. So we have this breakthrough energy that's divinely protected and beginning of a new foundation and stability, and our great lessons here. The great lesson is the reflection. So this is looking into the soul. This is determining how you see yourself and what you want to mirror. Each one of us, when we interact with the universe or interact with each other, what we're interacting with is the universe reflecting itself. So when we have creation and balance with the mirror, it's a call to reevaluate the balance of your path. There's a balance in creation. It almost seems to be a call to create, to create balance, but also that creativity brings balance. There's so much in our day-to-day life that doesn't allow for us to be creative, generally speaking. I know I came from the 9 to 5 grind, and I had been in it for, oh jeez, a long time. um, and there is a certain amount of joy, release, and spontaneity that can be found in being creative, even if, you know, you're not the type of person who doodles in their free time, right? Or is composing symphonies. You know, there's that spectrum there. But even finding a new route home, or learning to play an instrument, or maybe just doodling in a notebook, or paint by numbers. There's plenty of ways to be creative, and in being creative with what we do and how we spend our time is a reinforcement of our sovereignty, because it's not anything anyone told us to do, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. In that way, art, creativity, music, the arts is healing, because there's no way to right or wrong way to do it. One man's trash is another man's treasure. So you can't mess up. Even if the outcome doesn't look exactly the way you intended it to look when you started, there's no failure state when it comes to art and creativity. And if we look at our lives that way, as there is no fail state in life, because we can always learn something. We can always be creative with our solutions. There is no fail state. And so if you can take a balanced perspective when you're reflecting on your life without so much shame. Shame doesn't help anything. It doesn't heal anything. Is there anything else? Ooh. Chance. Okay. Yeah. See, I think there's a scripture, oh, it's been a long time, that says circumstance befalls us all. That might not be a Bible quote, so don't quote me if it's Ben Franklin said it or something, but that's what this reminds me of, is circumstance befalls us all. When we take everything so personally, there becomes imbalance. When every setback or every inconvenience or every tragedy even is taken personally, it can become imbalanced, especially when we don't take time to create within our own sphere of influence. And creativity doesn't even have to be art. It could be science. It could be writing instructional manuals. Like it genuinely doesn't have to be paint and pencil and charcoal. Being creative is simply giving yourself permission to not have to follow instructions. It's free time. It's playtime. It could be playing a video game. That could be creative, because you get to make choices. You get to build things. You get to find stuff. That's also a form of creativity and freedom. With this chance, it's a confirmation that sometimes things happen. And I believe in karma, but there are times when good things happen or bad things happen. And if we take a gentler approach when we look at ourselves in the mirror, a more balanced approach when we look at ourselves in the mirror, there's an opportunity for creating something new for ourselves, creating a new perspective. Not taking things personally. And this is something that I've actually learned recently too. Not taking every outcome personally. There's and I'm certainly not the first one to say this, I'm sure, but there is a hidden potential. Confirmation verb. A hidden potential when it comes to working in things like manifestation energy, which is beautiful and wonderful. I am personally in the middle of, or actually almost finished with, The Parallel Universes of Self from Frederick Dodson, and I highly recommend it if anyone is interested in something like manifestation. He has some really interesting ideas, and he's really inspired my development, and I really, really appreciate his work. But when you're looking at manifestation, I know I personally have struggled with wondering why something didn't go the way I was intending it to. Why something didn't materialize the way that I thought it would. What did I do wrong? What could I do differently? And how do I make it work? And it's not a transactional thing, and it's something that it's so difficult in our day and age when, you pay money, you get a thing. And there's so much transaction in our day-to-day life that when you're given information about opportunities like manifestation, I found that it came all too easy for me to look at it and go, oh, I just need to keep a high vibration. I need to, vividly use my imagination to idealize what, imagine, meditate on my ideal of what I'm trying to manifest. And it can become a little tricky when something doesn't manifest the way you thought it would, or doesn't manifest at all. Or when it seems like something is starting to work out and then it seems like it doesn't, or it's moving backwards, that sort of illusion of retrograde. Retrograde is when an object appears to move backwards based on the perspective point of the viewer. There really isn't backwards. So with, say, our orbit around the sun, with Earth, we're not going to suddenly switch and go the other way. we're going around and around a circle the same direction. But depending on the movements of other planets, the transits of other astral bodies, right, from Earth, it could look like some sort of planet or comet or whatever constellation suddenly looks like it's going backwards in the sky. It's really not. Nothing is stopping going about face and running the other direction. And so the beauty of retrograde is understanding that sometimes things look like they're not panning out, but they actually are. They actually are. Or there's something else coming in that matches better. Especially when you're talking about manifestation, when you're talking about working toward a goal, putting action toward a goal. When you're talking about especially self-development, you could be manifesting, I don't know, inner peace. And when you're manifesting inner peace, you might think it's going to come in a particular way, or that you have a specific issue that you need to tackle. Well, lo and behold, when you start to do the shadow work, you realize, oh, there's this thing over here, or the thing I thought was a problem wasn't actually the problem, it was a symptom. You could be trying to manifest money and think, oh, I'm going to get it through this particular business or doing this particular activity. And then when you get into it, you discover that that doesn't pan out. Something else is working instead. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that you went backwards. It's just more of a redirection. It's reevaluation. And that's why I think retrograde is such an interesting concept. And I really like it. There's a deck that I have here. It's the Cosmos Oracle, where they have a retrograde card. And they talk about this concept of retrograde. And I think it's a very interesting concept. And I hear a lot of talk about it in the spiritual community of how that retrograde energy can affect people. And I don't necessarily know all that because I haven't yet learned very much about astrology. So I'll leave that to the experts. But this message is really beautiful. Be easier on yourself. Some things are chance, and sometimes you get another chance. Don't take things personally when you're looking in the mirror. And you're being protected. You've broken through something. And now it's a matter of strengthening the base chakra, laying the foundation, because either you have learned a great lesson, and this is a confirmation of a lesson that you've learned regarding these themes, or you're about to. And these themes will be helpful for you when you do encounter this upcoming lesson. Is there anything else? Let's do an angel card advice. Let's see if we can get a little advice here. This deck is really there's a lot of cards compared to the other two. All right, so what advice for this collective? Oh, wow, you can't even. Couldn't have planned that better if I tried. All right. So we have 242, power. This is about being capable. And it says, become aware of the power of your thoughts and words. Your angels want you to know that your mental state reflects in every relationship, opportunity, and environment you end up in. Be an impartial observer of all of your thoughts and self-talk today. Your angels are listening. So this immediately links to the reflection. Your mental state is reflecting in every relationship, opportunity, environment. So with not taking things seriously, or excuse me, not taking things personally, take things seriously, but not taking things personally when facing problems, and looking at yourself, it can really, really help with, yeah, with your self-talk. The way you treat yourself is important for the way that you show up to the world. And then we have 644, struggle. Self-created stress is unhealthy. Your angels are asking you to get honest about how you contribute undue stress and conflict to your own life. They ask you to contemplate how struggle plays into your comfort zones. Notice where you are making life harder for yourself today, even in the smallest moments. Make a tiny change today so that a small struggle becomes obsolete. So again, when you're taking things personally, it makes things harder. When you don't take a more impartial view of the situation, it can create more struggle where there didn't necessarily need to be. Sort of a concept of unnecessary suffering. So yeah, make things a little easier on yourself. Be creative, have fun. Understand that sometimes things just happen. Sometimes things look like they're going backwards, but they're not actually. There's just more of either an optical illusion and things are just fine, or it's a redirection to something else. So yeah, that seems to be all. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk to you again soon. Take care of yourself.